Hey guys, what's up? This is Nayan here from Barrack Solutions, and today in this Raspberry Pi tutorial, I will teach you how to troubleshoot your HDMI problems on your Raspberry Pi. There can be two HDMI issues that you might be facing with your Raspberry Pi. First, it can be that your HDMI cable is providing you zero output, that is a blank black screen. In that case, you should change your HDMI cable. That is the only solution. Second, you might be getting HDMI output, but it might not be proper. That is, it might be covering only a part of the screen, and you might find those black checkerboards on the top, right, bottom, and the left hand corners. So, in order to prevent those black checkerboards and getting a proper HDMI output, you need to change certain configurations in your configuration file of your Raspberry Pi operating system. So I am on the wiki page of the Raspberry Pi configuration file, and this particular file has got several commands. So we'll go through the commands first, and then we will learn how we can edit the file so that we can get a proper output. So let's have a look. First we have the video modes, and in the video mode we have NTSC or PAL, and also Japanese version option and a Brazilian version option. So just choose the mode according to your country or region, wherever the video format, what type of video format is played, NTSC or PAL. If you do not know, then just Google it up. Second is aspect ratio, which is extremely important. Now if you want a proper full HD output on a full screen, then you need to go for the 16:9 aspect ratio. That is the aspect ratio which is usually used for proper HD outputs. Then you can disable the color burst, which is all about the colors, how it is getting produced on the screen, so all that stuff. And then we have the HDMI underscore save. This can be used only if your Raspberry Pi is not detecting the HDMI cable. Now what this will do is this will make your Raspberry Pi start only with the HDMI cable and nothing else. Then we have certain more things which you can ignore at the moment. And then we have one of the most important thing, that is the HDMI underscore group, which defines the HDMI type. Now you can either have a CEA or a DMT HDMI type. Now depending on that type, you can have different modes. Now if you are under the group 1, that is CEA, then these are the outputs that you can enjoy with your Raspberry Pi. So my mode is definitely going to be the 16th one, that is 1080p at 60 Hz, and that's basically because I know that my television is compatible for playing this particular output, and I also know that my HDMI group is 1. If you are under the second group, that is the DMT HDMI type, then you can be benefited with all these type of screen resolutions, and you can observe that the aspect ratio is different, and different modes provide different screen resolutions. So you need to go through this for understanding what type of output you want. Then we have overscanning. Now the black checkerboards which I was talking on the top, right, bottom and left, it is nothing but overscanning, and you can remove it by adding disable underscore overscan. That's the command that you need to add to remove the overscanning. Then you can even rotate your screen by using this particular commands, that is disable underscore rotate, and there are various rotations like 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, horizontal flip and vertical flip. Now you can also go through these things, that is which values are valid for your monitor, and it's really important. You should go if you want to understand more about your values for your monitor. Now this is only for those monitor screens, this is not for the televisions. So that's pretty much with the configuration file terms that you need to know for your HDMI settings. Now let's begin editing the HDMI configuration file. So first, what you need to do is connect your SD card to your personal computer and make sure it has the operating system files loaded on it. Then open it up and you will have the config.txt file. Just open it up. And you can see here we have the configurations. And wherever you can see this hash it basically means that it is a comment, and this is not going to affect our output by any way. So let me just open the complete file so that you can have a look at it. Now you can see everything is disabled over here. Still you might not get a proper output. So first thing that you need to do is uncomment HDMI underscore group, and second uncomment HDMI underscore mode. And I will be going for the 16th mode. As I told you, my television supports 1080p at 60 Hz, so I can go for that. Second thing that you need to do is uncomment disable underscore overscan, and this will basically remove all those checkerboards. Then you can have the frame buffer width and height, that is basically the height of your console. It can be 1920 by 1080 or something else depending on what height you want, but I would suggest don't uncomment this, and it is not required. Now you need to add one more thing, that is the aspect ratio. Just add a comment saying aspect ratio and then type in SDTV underscore aspect equals to 3. Now just don't blindly copy what I am typing. As I showed you the details about the configuration file, just go to that link, search for the what kind of aspect ratios that your Raspberry Pi can support, then search what your television's aspect ratio is, and accordingly add this particular number. Now I know my television supports 16:9, so I will be going for SDTV underscore aspect equals to 3. And that's pretty much it that you should be editing. And if you are still facing any issues with your HDMI cable, then uncomment this, that is HDMI underscore safe equals to 1. If you do that, then your Raspberry Pi should start only through the HDMI cable, but I wouldn't go for that. I am not facing that much of issues. Now even if after doing so much of things you're facing more issues, you can comment in the video below or even send me a message through YouTube or mail me at support@techbarrack.com, and I'll be happy to help you out. And that's pretty much the HDMI settings that you need to do. So just save the file. Once you have saved the file, just eject the SD card and you can run it on your Raspberry Pi. That's it with this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and visit techbarrack.com.